Am I live yet? Am I live? Am I live? Hello, hello. Okay, it's taking a while. All right, let me know if you can hear me. I think we lost a couple of viewers already. Oh, it's my printer. All right, who's joined? I see one concurrent viewer. Or maybe that's me. Anyone receiving? Oh, this is fun. Let's see if this is working. Here we go. Hey, Saul. Welcome back. We're waiting for some more people to join. So if you want to invite people, do so. We're giving away Knives Out for the person who brings in the most friends. And then we'll be talking about movies. Let me just go to Twitter, tell people we are live. Okay, it says excellent connection. So how are you guys doing so far in quarantine? Or maybe you're working like my husband is. He's on the essential worker. Okay, so there's lots of news surrounding movies, and we're going to talk about it. Oh, let me see, I'm getting a message here. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain such viewers will experience. Okay, well, we'll keep going. Hi, Eddie. Thanks for joining. So yeah, as I was mentioning, Trolls was the first movie, Trolls World Tour, that went straight to streaming, digital platforms, since the quarantine started. And it looks like Universal did really, really well with it. They actually made 100 million, I believe, like in the first or 2 weeks that it opened. So that's interesting because now they're thinking about shortening the window between theatrical and uh, streaming versus digital on demand. And so, of course, that angered AMC theaters. They threw a tantrum and they said, well, we're not going to show any of your movies. So, there. And Regal apparently had joined the protest next, but then they backtracked. So it'll be interesting to see how many other exhibitors join the protest. Although, I don't know, I don't see uh, much weight on that because there's so many other movie theaters and there's independent movie theaters. So there's plenty of other movie theaters to go to, especially the independents. Well, they might not have stadium seating, but they do have a big screen. So would you guys be up to going to an independent screening if more major chains join the protest and not show any Universal films? So let me know about that. In the meantime, let me share this video so we can have more people join. And then also, Universal made, I guess, pretty good bank with the other movies, which did have theatrical run, a short theatrical run, and then became available on digital and on demand. And that was The Hunt, Invisible Man, and I don't remember the other title, but they made about 70 million. So in comparison to movie theaters, that's not as big, but considering the situation we're in, it's not too bad. And so I'm wondering if other studios are going to follow suit and do that, because I don't think, in my opinion, you'll have some people who go to the movie theaters. The only movie theaters opening right now are apparently the ones in Texas and in Georgia. I believe the governor allowed movie theaters to open, but they decided not to, which makes sense because they're going to spend all this money for a little amount of people to go sit down and see a movie. So it's probably not worth it, in my opinion. Oh, so from the UK all the way over there. How are things over there? So here it's the death toll is not so good. It surpassed Italy, but I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy in this situation. Okay, so basically for the movie studios, it's better for them to go streaming, and I'll tell you why. I used to work in distribution for Fox for about 4 years, so I found out how they make their money. I don't know, it's supposed to be a secret, but it's going to come out now. So anyway, back then, this was probably like 20 years ago. This is my first job out of college. So basically what they do is for big films, it's a 70-30 split. So obviously the movie studio gets 70% for the first week, sometimes 2 weeks. If it's a really big movie, the studio can say, okay, 70% for 2 weeks, and then it goes down 10% each week. To eventually you get to a point where it's, I think, 50% is as low as they got. So for some films that weren't as big and they didn't have much bargaining tools, they would start out probably at 70 for 1 week, maybe 60 if it was a really badly reviewed movie. So I'm pretty sure it's still the same. So if you think about it, the exhibitors get a lot of the percentage from movie going, plus their concessions. So you can imagine, and their concessions are expensive, as anyone knows who's ever bought stuff from them. It's super duper expensive. So they make pretty good bank, the movie theaters. So, and given the fact that here in LA, the prices I think are at 14, so it's not cheap. That because I think I read that they get pretty much 80% of the totals when they do streaming and on demand. So that's quite a difference, and the percentage doesn't reduce during the run like they do in movie theaters, where at one point they're only getting, no, I think it actually goes down to 30% in movie theaters. I don't remember. It was a while ago, but yeah. So at one point they're both making 50-50. So on demand they're making a lot less. No, on demand they're making more, so they get to keep more money. So of course, conflicting, goals for both companies. So it'll be interesting to see. And are they really going to hold to that? What do you guys think? Are they really going to hold to boycotting Universal films, especially with a lot of the movies that are coming out? You have Fast and the Furious, and I can't think of any other movies right now, but Fast and Furious, I mean, that's mega maker. So I can't believe that they'll turn that down. Also, Jurassic World, I think they stopped filming right now, so they changed some of their dates as well. So it'll be interesting to see. And as I mentioned, there won't be many summer movies this weekend or this summer. Tenet, the Christopher Nolan's new film, is sticking around the July. I had it somewhere. But yeah, they're, I think, either June or July. So I don't know if people will be ready to attend movie theaters even then. And speaking of movie theaters, so the only movie theaters that are will be allowed to open are in Texas, and apparently they will have a TSA level check-in. So they're going to take your temperature, make sure you have a mask, and I don't know what other screenings they can possibly do. But as we know, asymptomatic infections, they're still contagious. So even if you don't have a fever, you're still contagious. So it's a little skeptical there. I'm skeptical that two people will even attend the movie theater. I'm sure there'll be one or two people. And second of all, having to go through that screening where somebody actually has to take your temperature, and I don't know what else they're going to do. Are they going to make you take off your shoes? That's a joke. But yeah, it's a TSA level screenings before you go into a movie theater. So I don't think they're going to bother with that. But they are going to offer $5 tickets and $5 concessions. And since right now, there are no new films coming out because they were all moved, they're going to be playing classics. So I read somewhere that The Goonies would be one of the options, and then Sonic the Hedgehog, since that is coming out on digital, Blu-ray, DVD, and on demand. It's already on demand, but the hard disk will be coming out, I think this week or last week. I'm still waiting for mine. Can't wait. They've asked me if I want one. I said, yes, please. I'm going to watch it a third time. All right, so we talked about a TSA level screenings. Let me know, you guys. Do you think you'll attend under those circumstances? And then that's what's next on the list. All right, let's talk movies. So I'm sure you heard Warner Brothers announced a bunch of changes to their movie slate. And so let's see here. First, The Sopranos prequel, they have a date of March 12th, 2021. I'm not even sure if that's even been shot. So that'll be interesting to see. And then Black Adam, December 22nd, 2021. And apparently, Dwayne Johnson, who's starring in the film and producing it, he said somewhere on his social media that they're going to resume production, or they're going to start production sometime in August. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Then the Batman, which was in the middle of shooting before they had to stop, the date now is October 1st, 2021. And of course, all this is dependent on when they finish shooting. Who knows when they're going to go back, since social distancing on a set. Can you imagine? I don't understand how they're going to do that unless they have a closed set. So they have a small amount of people on set. And co-stars. Yeah, it's going to be tricky with co-stars. So I don't know. How do you guys think that's going to work? I have no idea. And then finally, Shazam 2 gets a release date of November 2nd, 2022. So it's far away. So they have some wiggle room unless something happens. We don't know the future. So it'll be hard to say. And then The Flash, June 3rd, 2022. So those kids are going to be pretty grown up. The film was about a year and a half ago. So they've hit puberty. So they're going to be young adults by the time this movie is released. Although if they shoot it next year, I mean, they still look pretty young. So that'll be interesting to see. That's always tricky for Shazam. The Flash next will be June 3rd, 2022. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with that movie. There's a lot of speculation because, as you may have heard, Ezra Miller got into an altercation somewhere in Europe. And it might have been a case of him trying to play with someone, but he put his hands around a girl's neck and didn't exactly throw her on the ground, but pretend throw on the ground. That's not a good look, regardless if he meant it as a joking way of bringing up or taking on this fan who was teasing him about fighting him. Why would fans do that? That's just ridiculous, even if they're drunk. It's not like he's a macho man. Of course, you would never ask Dwayne Johnson to fight him, but he's a big guy. So maybe they thought, oh, this little guy, I can take him, but who knows? So the fact that they mentioned that they announced the release date means it's probably still on, and Ezra Miller will be the Flash. I personally liked him. I saw a lot of backlash saying what a horrible actor he is, but I enjoyed him. I don't know what you guys thought. I enjoyed him in the Justice League movie. I thought he was a good character and a funny character, the way he played it. All right, so Sunday's not a good day for live streams, I guess. We only have 2 viewers. So invite your friends. Let them know we're live. All right, and then the next, okay, Lionsgate. Where Lionsgate just this past week announced they're moving stuff all over the place. And let's see, I'll show you the actual image that they released on Twitter. And now, so here we go. All right, so here's the new dates. And as you can see, reboot coming. It's called Spiral. And that's been moved to May 21st, 2021. So let's go down the Lionsgate list of really new release dates. So Annabellum, that's Jordan Peele's latest movie he's producing with, it's a horror movie, as you can guess. It now will be released August 21st, and it stars Janelle Monáe. Is that her name? Monáe. And then Fatale, October 30th. I had not heard of that movie, but apparently it stars, let me see here. It's Deon Taylor directing with Hilary Swank, Michael Ealy, and Mike Coulter, best known as Luke Cage. And then there's The Asset. The Asset I had never heard of either. The Asset's going to be April 23rd, 2021. That stars, oh, I don't have that. It's down here. And then Spiral, like I mentioned, it's a Saw reboot. So that'll be interesting to see how they can reboot that. That's been moved to May 21st, 2021. And then Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. Okay, that sounds silly. It's probably meant to be. That's July 16, 2021. Then Hitman's Bodyguard was taken out from this year's release to August 20th. And it's technically called Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. But it's a sequel to Hitman's Bodyguard with Samuel Jackson and Ryan Reynolds. And then American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story, December 10th, 2021. And sadly, John Wick will have to wait for 2 years. John Wick Chapter 4, May 27th, 2022. And the reason for that is because he was currently shooting Matrix 4. But obviously they had to stop shooting because of the coronavirus. And so they're in the middle of production. So he needs to, when this whole mess is figured out, he will have to return to the set and finish that. And then resume. Well, actually, John Wick, I read they don't even have a script yet. So should probably announce the release date when you have a good script, because we don't want, I mean, all 3 movies have been really good. So I can't complain. But it always worries me when we hear that they don't have a script yet they have production and a release date set. So let's just hope they don't ruin the franchise. And then Lionsgate also has a few other movies that they didn't mention in their release announcement because they're staying on the same date. That will be Neil Berger's sci-fi movie called Voyagers. It stars Ty Sheridan and Colin Farrell. That's at the end of this year on November 25th. I have not heard anything about that movie. So, and I don't think I've seen a trailer. So we have yet to see a trailer. And then there's the Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Will be out March 19, 2021. And then finally, not too far away, is Chaos Walking. Apparently, that's the highly anticipated movie based on something else, based on a book or another property. That's Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, Mads Mikkelsen. Oh, that's a reunion. Oh no, two different movies. They were in two different movies in the Star Wars universe. And Damien Bashir, Kurt Sutter, and Nick Jonas. Oh, so it's Kurt Sutter starting here. And Cynthia Erivo. She played Harriet Tubman last year. And then David Oyelowo. I can never pronounce his name correctly. So that will be out January 22nd. So it's interesting to see the movie studios are moving around things. So it'll be interesting to see if they move even more stuff around, because June is next month, 3 weeks. So that's pretty fast as of a turnaround. I think there's only 1 or 2 films in June, so it's not that big of a stretch. And then here Saul is asking, is Wonder Woman 2 out this summer yet? Supposedly August. So we'll wait and see. If not enough people are going to the movie theaters, though, I'm not sure. And then Joe Sunny said, I'll invite some peeps. Yeah, invite people. Yeah, they moved it. Last time we talked, it was supposed to be this year, but they moved it to next year, I believe. Let's see here. Well, it still says November 20th, 2022, or 2020. But I thought I had read somewhere. No, I don't think that's correct. But yeah, I read somewhere that it was moved. They said originally it was supposed to open March 2020, but I don't think that's correct. Yeah, so anyway, I don't remember the exact date, but I think I had read that they were moving it. That's another Universal film. So AMC, bad decision if that's the case. They'll miss out on that movie as well. So speaking of going to the movie theaters, like I mentioned in Texas, they're opening some theaters and you'll have to go through TSA level screenings. So we'll see how that goes. So they're probably going to do the test run, see if people are showing up. People in Texas are going to the beaches. So I don't know if those are the brave people that will go into an enclosed space. Well, all I know is when I go to the movies, I'm going to be looking like this. But I'm kidding. I probably won't go to the movies anytime soon. I have asthma. So it's not likely that I'll be going out anytime soon to a movie theater. Even if the press screenings, I'm a little worried about. Not sure I'm going to handle those. And Saul's asking me, what do you think about the new Venom title? I liked it, actually. I can't think of it now, but Rampage, right? No, it's not called Rampage. It's on the tip of my tongue. Help me remember the title of it. It was the name of the villain for the next movie. Yeah, Mr. G says, hey, thanks for joining. He says it'll be interesting to see how it turns out for those returning to movie theaters. Yeah, I think I'll let somebody else be the guinea pig. They can report on the news what happened, and then the rest of us can go out. But yeah. Hey guys, thanks for inviting other people. Make sure that they tag you so I know who's who and who's coming in because of someone. And then we have Lee Hagar from England. Hi, hello. Hope you guys are doing well over there. Saul here too. It's from England. All right, let's see what's next on the list to discuss. Any other? Let There Be Carnage. There we go. I like the name. I think I'm not a Venom comic book fan. but that title sounds really interesting. And Woody Harrelson apparently will not have that terrible wig that they gave him in the finale in the first Venom. So speaking of Venom 2, what do you guys think? Should they continue that mix of black comedy and action? I liked it. And it was nice to see Tom Hardy in a different kind of role. I don't think we've ever seen him in that aspect. Okay, so what's next here? All right, well, that's about it about for theatrical movies. I said if we have more people joining in, I was explaining to people that AMC is boycotting Universal Pictures because they announced that they would shorten the window between theatrical run and um, on demand and digital releases. So AMC did not like that. I'm sure these other movie theaters were not happy. Exhibitors were happy about that news. And AMC came right out and said, we're going to boycott all the Universal movies. So those, and then later I worked in an agency and worked with other studios like Universal, Paramount, and DreamWorks. And they tend to stick together. So you don't want to piss off one studio and then piss off all of them. Yeah, Joe, I saw that Regal also was joining the protest, and then I think somebody walked it back. So they said they're going to think about it, but they too were also bothered about Universal's announcement. But I think they walked it back. So we'll see how that ends. I don't know what other major movie theaters exhibitors there are. I know Regal bought out Edwards, but as I mentioned earlier, there's tons of independent theaters, and I'm sure they'll be happy to get those blockbuster films from Universal. So I'm pretty sure they may not have stadium seating, but people want to see a movie on the big screen. Why not go to an independent movie theater? Plus, they probably need the business right about now, as long as if it's safe, I'm sure. Lee Hager said, I think they may be bringing back drive-in movies. Oh, that would be so awesome. There's one here in Los Angeles. It's far away. What city is in? Montclair, which is about, without traffic, probably 40 minutes from here. So I would love to go to a drive-in. I used to go to drive-ins in the 70s, and they were so much fun. I think my first horror movie at a drive-in was American Werewolf in London. My neighbor who was babysitting me, she took me to go see that because they were big movie fans. And with the prerequisites like, don't tell your mom. So it was my first horror movie at a drive-in. It scared the hell out of me. I had seen Exorcist, so that traumatized me. So American Werewolf in London was pretty terrifying, but not as much as The Exorcist. But I survived, and I like horror movies. So I'm glad I got that exposure. And then Safika online, hey Angela, thanks for joining. So she thinks the studios are probably going to win on this. Yep, I was just talking about that. They're probably going to win because they have so many options that AMC probably doesn't have much recourse in that aspect. And Safika online says, is there a drive-in in Van Nuys gone? I don't know. I think it's still there. There's a bunch of swap meets here in Los Angeles, right outside downtown LA. And I don't think they've operated their screen. The screens are still there. I've passed by and you can see the screens are still standing. I think I think it's a cool experience. Actually, somebody I know on Facebook said they went to the Montclair, okay, to the drive-in that's 40 minutes from here. And so I think it was early, before the movie started, so I'm not sure if he answered back as what the experience was. But other reviews that I saw for the the drive-in said that it was a good experience. And I think there's an app now or something you can hook into instead of attaching, I think now it goes through your radio. Instead of, if anyone recalls going to the drive-in theater, they had these bulky sound things that you would hang on your window. So I don't know, that's probably not, you probably don't have it anymore. So you can find a frequency on your radio and do that. Oh, apparently it was a Culver City drive-in. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's only like 20 minutes from where I live. So that would have been cool. All right, guys, thanks for joining so far. I think, let's see, who's winning? Who sent the most friends? Last time, the winner, I couldn't get in touch with her because they don't, here on YouTube, they don't allow it. So I'm not sure if you can message me afterwards. All right, so I want to share something funny. All I've been thinking about is Pixar's movie WALL-E, because this whole quarantining and sticking to our smartphones, smart pads, TV, streaming on demand made me think of WALL-E, and I went back and looked at some pictures, and it's funny because you can see they're social distancing while they're on the ship. If you don't remember WALL-E, or if you haven't seen it in a while, humans abandoned Earth and went to live in a big cruise-like spaceship waiting for Earth to rejuvenate itself. And if you remember, the residents of the cruise ship, airship, whatever you want to call it, they did not interact with each other. They were on their screens watching and pretty much staying away from people. So that's what I've been thinking about lately. How Pixar's film is another prophecy from a movie. And here they're learning to walk again. I think we got that covered, luckily. And hopefully we'll now, so sick of being on our smartphones and telephones and smart pads, iPads, we'll want to go back outside and not look at our smartphones ever again. Because I, for one, I've been doing a lot less. Oh, Saul says they don't have drive-in movies in Wales, UK. Oh, that's sad. Well, if you ever come to the United States, whenever this mess is done with around the world, when there's a vaccine, that's definitely a place to visit. Do they have them in Britain at all, or just none? Oh, so Saul wants to know Clifford the Big Red Dog. I have not heard anything about that movie. Is it animated or live action? See, let me see here. Okay, so it's live action, combination CGI, family comedy. Well, it says November 13, but I don't know if that's accurate now, since yeah, I don't think there's been any news about that. Although it says here it's slated for November 13, 2020 for the United States. And they usually go day and date, I think, with the UK. Plus, it's a family film. Let's see here. It has release dates. Brazil. No. Yep, this November, apparently. There's no change. Anybody else read more movie news that you thought would be interesting to mention, to talk about? Okay, I'm reading through comments. I'm trying to see who invited people. Okay, let me know how many of your friends have joined. I can't really see. Do a quick reading here so we can determine who gets Knives Out. Let me change the view. Forgot we're still on WALL-E. I think I want to rewatch WALL-E. I don't think we've learned our lesson. Okay, coming up. Let's see. All right, guys, thanks for joining and watching. If you want to, it's kind of hard to ask for support now, given the situations that we're in. A lot of people are not working. I'm not working my other job, so I'm not got much income. So I'm getting income from my YouTube videos. So if you want to help support Cinemovie, watch our videos, interviews. I just put up a interview. Well, not a new interview, but I put together tips. We asked tips of how to make a horror movie from the greats James Wan, Guillermo del Toro, and Sam Raimi. So we put that together in a mashup, and they're giving advice as how to write and direct a good horror movie. So it's some good pointers that they give, some really good ones. Not surprising given that they're masters in their genres. So watch that now. That's one of our latest. And we'll be interviewing Tuesday. We have an interview with James Badge Dale. Might not recognize the name, but you probably recognize the face. He was the number 2 bad guy in Iron Man 3. And he's been in tons of films. He's a really good actor, character actor. I think he's a lead in this one, so it's good to see him as a lead because he's a really good actor, and he's been playing second fiddle for the longest time. He was in World War Z for a little bit. He played a military guy who escorted Brad Pitt, I think, to his first, when he left the ship and went to his first stop to find a scientist or get information about this virus. Such weird movies. I mean, luckily nobody's turning into zombies with this one. So yeah, if you have time, play a playlist, let it play so we can earn some winners from our Cinemovie TV giveaway. So here it goes. Okay, so we had Frozen. Oh, I didn't bring my copies. So we have 3 Frozen 2 digital codes we were giving away back in March. And when all this happened, it kind of threw me off. So I think they actually sent it afterwards. Now that I'm remembering, they sent the codes afterwards, and then they got buried under my mail. And I just recently found them. I'm like, oh my God, can't believe I forgot to give these or pick the winners. So here are the winners. It's 3 digital codes. So I'm just gonna do first name and initial. So Dina A from Decatur, Georgia. And then there's Katie C. She's in New York. That New York was hard hit, so it might bring a little joy. And then the last person is Denise M. from here in California, Burbank. So they're probably not watching, but they're going to get Frozen 2 digital movie codes. And then we had recently Like a Boss with Salma Hayek, Tiffany Haddish, and Rose. What is her name? Okay. I cannot remember her name. Anyway, so we had 5 Blu-rays to give away. But what happened with all this, everything came to a halt. They said they only had 2, and so the 3 would be digital codes. So the first 2 they probably should have received it by now. The agency said they were sending them out last week. So Lisa L. from Simi Valley here in California. Jason F. He's from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. So they should have gotten a hard copy now. And then who is getting the digital codes? We have not made the announcement, but they will soon find out. So Juan Gudino, he's in Spring Valley, California. Not sure where that is. I said the last name. Oops. And then Jana P. She is in Mesquite, Texas. So she's getting a digital code. And then Chris R. He is in Alberta, California. Well, another city I'm not familiar with. So congratulations to all those winners. They'll be happy to know there's something new to watch. And then Saul is asking, what did you think of the new Lion King movie? I thought it was okay. I didn't have the same feeling as the first one. and some of the animal movements weren't, I'm not sure, but the fact that they did it shot by shot was like, do we really need a live action? But, studios are in the business of making money. So for them, it made sense. I mean, coming up, we're going to have The Little Mermaid. I wonder where that's at this point. Little Mermaid, the casting was determined. Can't think of their names right now. Unknowns. And then we're waiting for Mulan. Mulan's this summer, so we'll see if they keep to that date. I'm sure they will by now. Especially knowing now with the Trolls watch party, knowing that they made 100 million the first week or two off of that title, Trolls World Tour, you can imagine for Mulan, it's going to be even twice as much money. So I'm sure they're going to release it in movie. That's my prediction. They're going to release it in movie theaters for 2 weeks and then make it available for rent and on demand. That's my prediction. That would make the most sense. Because like I said, given that what we know now, that there is a market out there to buy in the first week or two, so it makes sense monetarily, business-wise, right? Makes sense to make money because that's their business. I know a lot of people always complain that they're in it for the money, but yeah, they're in it for the money. That's, that's the model of how do we make money. It's all about net worth. All right, so I've been watching a lot of stuff, mostly sticking to TV shows, but there have been a few good movies. If you're a fan of Sebastian Stan, James Dornan, and oh my God, why can't I think of her name? The girl from Divergent, Shailene Woodley, and Big Little Lies. It's about a love triangle. It's kind of Harlequin novel type stuff, but it's serious. It's not that hokey. So that's a love triangle gone wrong. It's a slice of life movie, but if you're a fan of any of those three, then it's worth watching. What other one can I think of? There's a cute movie that I watched. Oh, Time Warp. It's a really good movie for like cult movies. It examines about a dozen or more cult films that made a difference in pop culture. And it's got interviews with the original stars, with the director, and it's really cool. I wasn't bored at all. So it's called Time Warp. Can't think of the name. But yeah, look for Time Warp. I think it's on demand now, or it's for rent. All right, Sophie Line. Oh yeah, Seth Rogen as Pumbaa and Billy Eichner Timon. Oh yeah, that made the movie for me. Their humor, they stole the show, I thought. So that kind of made up for the rest of the movie lacking, or just kind of being a shot by shot of the animated film. That their relationship was just really hilarious, and I thought I made it a lot more fun than it would have been if they hadn't made that different. Because apparently Seth and Billy improvised in the recording booth, so that probably made it all the more better for that. So anyway, so anything you guys have watched that you recommend, worth paying for, or what's on Hulu, Netflix, or what is your preference? Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon Prime? I have all three now. Thanks, sister. For Hulu. So I'm alternating. I'm kind of sick of Netflix. I've been watching pretty much everything I can find on Netflix. I started watching Hollywood yesterday by Ryan Murphy. That's kind of sordid Hollywood tale. It's imagine the Harvey Weinstein story in the 1930s, 40s. Yeah. So it's pretty sad to see people taking advantage of newcomers trying to make it in the business. So I'm not sure I'm liking it, just because a lot of sordid characters, and it's just kind of disgusting behavior that they put these poor people through and pretty much exploit them. So it's not a happy subject. It happens, I'm sure, all the time here, especially with the whole Harvey Weinstein and bringing to light what it's really like for us, not just women, men. In the show, apparently I don't think it's based on Rock Hudson's life story, but if it is, it's just sad what they made him go through. I don't think it's I think it's fictionalized. I'm not sure, but yeah, disturbing behavior. So if you're not in the mood to see sorted people, then don't watch it because it's kind of icky what they made poor, not innocent, but people looking for stardom in Hollywood. So it's not a fun tale. Yeah, Angela, that's old Hollywood. Apparently, it's still the new Hollywood. I don't know if it's happening as much, but I heard stories when I was in the studios. So, and people were actually sent to sexual harassment classes, and they came back and we're right back at it. The managers, I was like, wow, this is crazy that this actually is condoned. Well, not condoned, but they just let it kind of happen. So Angela, oh, the garage actually existed. Are you serious? Oh my god, that's horrible. So, but if you want to know what the garage she's talking about, I'll tell you. It's basically a pit stop to pick up people working at the well, in Hollywood it's a gas station where people come and pick up the workers. Essentially, they're prostitutes, mostly males, and both women and men come and pick up these workers. It's mostly Hollywood types. So, and as you can imagine, there's an actor and a writer who work at this place. So I'm flabbergasted, Angela, that this actually existed. How was it not busted long, in those days? But I guess they didn't have social media back then, so couldn't tell. I'm sure they could have called the cops, but everyone had their secrets, even now. All right, well that's it for today. So no suggestions on what to watch. So Saul's asking, is it true that there's going to be a movie about the boy? Bad take. Another Bad Boys? Is that what you're asking? I heard they're interested. They're looking into making another Bad Boys movie, but of course the script has to be right. All right, well, before we sign off, let me know how many of your friends came. Otherwise, I can't really tell. So we can give out this beautiful Knives Out digital code. It's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to watch it another time. I think I'll be on my third viewing of Knives Out. So let me know. I think I saw, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Angela Sifik online suggesting the Crip Cramp. I saw that. Might check it out. It looks sad though. I'm looking for more upbeat stuff. All right, so I'll figure out who had people come because right now I can't tell. So Joe invited me. All right, so since we can't message people here, DM me on Cinemovie if you think you're the winner on Twitter. Let me have your email address. I think it's between Saul and Joe. Yeah, so DM me let me know how many people you brought to today's chat. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Stay safe and sane by watching a lot of stuff. That's how I'm staying sane. And again, like I always say at my end of my videos, thank you so much to the frontline workers and the essential workers out there working and putting their lives at risk for us. And I hope everyone's safe here in the States and in the UK, since we had 2 people from the UK. So take care, and we will see you next time. Later.